Hello and welcome to the Pentakill League Season 4 Week 1 Game 1 match between the aspects of Targon and the Ixtal World Breakers. My name is Jerbear. I'm joined on the desk today by DJ, Steve, and the Twin. How are you guys doing today?
Hey man, doing well. Happy 4th of July to all of our Americans and to John and Jer, I think our only two Canadians. Happy late Canada Day.
Right on.
Yeah, doing well. Looking forward to game one of the split. Man, from the draft, it's looking like we've got some exciting lane matchups. And yeah, I guess we could just hop in and start talking about it because there's definitely some interesting pick ban going on.
Yep, they are absolutely just zipping through bands here.
One thing
Yeah, go ahead.
for those who have not joined us with Pentakill League before on a live broadcast, the pick ban is done ahead of time, so this isn't necessarily the order that the champs are picked in. But the bans are reflected accurately. I found it interesting, the Kog'Maw ban against Sly Little Fox. It's not one of his kind of classic champs. The Zaya as ban 3 seemed a little more typical to me, but perhaps Mike has been practicing some Kog'Maw.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that is an interesting one for sure.
that
He
could
does end up on the
absolutely be
Twitch
it.
here.
And then another, just the straight disrespect from AOT, taking away the Rammus from our beloved
Yeah,
set.
that was a first pick Rammus. So people picked in order, but of like what they're actually playing. But the Rammus was the first pick on the blue side for AOT. Not wanting that in the hands of Depression Main. I'm sure he'll be a little sad to have to play against it, but kind of an
That being
interesting team
said,
they've built around it.
yeah, I mean, Set does know the champ in and out, and I'm pretty sure you can Can you interrupt Rammus Powerball with the his little like spinning thing with a ram or a trundle pillar?
Yeah, if you get the knockup. If you just slow, it'll just slow. But if you actually do get the knockup, which is a little hard to land with the timing on the speed up and everything, but if you do get the knockup, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe you know, I wonder if they saw it coming. It was surprising to me, to say the least. Calicola is new to the league, so um, I'm not really sure what to expect. But yeah, definitely a big takeaway. Now, also the Lucian Nami bot lane for AOT. I playing AD carry this season. Yasuo still banned against him.
Yeah.
Even in the bot lane, which you can't blame him, right? And he's been putting in a lot of time on Lucian. I know in practices he's had some pop-off games. Time to see it on stage. Talking to him beforehand, I think he's both a little bit nervous and also hyped up, ready to prove himself. So hopefully he and Galfrey can have a good showing.
Yeah, yeah. And speaking of last season, we have an interesting matchup here because we've got Balthazar and Aya on the same team again. That's the defending championship team. And we've got Depression Main and Brzinc on the other side, which was the team that came in last. So something to prove here, a little bit of a David versus Goliath matchup. And of the other 6 players, 5 are brand new to the league this season.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
Also, Brzinc playing support.
Yeah, some interesting another interesting role swap, right? Everyone else kind of in their usual same roles as last season, or kind of pretty standard roles. But Brzinc going support is another interesting one. I don't think we've seen a lot of that in and out of the league.
Yeah,
so that'll be interesting to check out.
Yeah, I bet they were probably trying out. I know. I'm not exactly sure what they were drafted precisely for, like what position Deadbeat Demon Dad was picked for. I think there was some flexibility in that draft, and it makes me think that after some practice, this is what seemed to be working. And also, you would think on paper the bot lane for IWB should be a strong point for them. That being said, though, Lucian Nami really strong lane, so it could be tough to get rolling, especially with a Rammus on the other side of the map, playing really aggressive with Twitch Senna, could be pretty risky.
Was that a pun there with the rolling thing, or you just did that off the cuff?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like we have two different kind of ideologies here in this game. Seems like AOT is kind of going for kind of the mid game, just step on their throats, and then on the other side, they're IWB, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Looks like they're going for more of a late game comp. So it should be interesting to see both those ideologies come to fruition.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth mentioning with Trundle to steal Rammus stats in the late game team fight, and Mordekaiser on the front line, Victor, Twitch, Senna all scale very well. So, if this game does go late, I think IWB has a really good chance. But we'll see. One big, another question mark to me is I haven't seen COVID-9 Demo play, and Belth is a well-known win lane, win game kind of player on Action. So
Yeah, kind of a win lane, win game kind of champ as well.
right. So we'll see. Action does tend to be, though, although you can get advantages, get ahead, make stuff happen, still very squishy. If you catch them out, pretty easy to kill. So yeah, we'll see if you can make it work.
Yeah, and you look. Speaking of win lane, win game, you see double ignite up against double teleport here.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely going for kills there. Interesting. I kind of like the TP on the mid laner when you have an Akshan, on the odd chance that, especially someone like Vex who kind of gets in there. Obviously, Ignite's just strong on her because she has that all-in kill potential, but if Akshan brings her back to life, she still has to make it all the way back into the fight, and having someone who can TP back in and give you the advantage of the res is nice sometimes.
Yeah, and I think one thing to look at here, at least from my perspective, is Aya's. This is his first game playing ADC on the old big stage, and we have Fox, who's a ADC main. And that being said, Fox is just tempo guy. Wants to go in at all times against a guy that hasn't played the lane before, in this league. And I think it should be interesting to see if they run in there and just try to disrupt things, or just play the normal Twitch game.
Yeah, and just looking at jungle starts, we see Trundle starting top, immediately going to the enemy's blue side, so looking for a triple buff and probably ending on a gank bot lane.
If it goes well. Path. Yeah, if it goes well, that's a really smart starting option. Belth might be communicating that Mordekaiser came to lane late, so they might have an idea.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Oh.
Just in time. Sneaks away with the blue buff, and that is rough because...
Yeah, but they're getting collapsed on here. As the Rammus does get the Q on him, Anya's there, but Depression Mage just flashes, does not want to deal with that. Might have been able to hold that, because Akshan was not going to be able to get into that fight, but... Takes a safe option, gets away with the blue, and a small kind of early lead for IWB.
The level 2 from Twitch, very strong.
COVID-9 Timo, as we were discussing before, probably the best name in the league. Getting a good trading there. I'm trying to get that...
For Zinc with some little cheeky stuff around the corner. Trying to get an early W off onto Aya there, as they're already being pretty aggressive in that lane. Aya's shoved back, but still able to just farm under tower there. Potential early roam from bot lane? Or they're at least just taking the scuttle? That's interesting. They did shove the lane in. They'll miss a couple of creeps for that, but I think they are just happy to have the map pressure this early.
You know what I think this is? I think Sed is just calling out to his entire team, let's make this Rammus's game as miserable as possible because he stole my pick.
Yeah.
So that's my guess.
Very possible.
We're taking all the scuttles. Well, except Rammus got scuttle top, so.
Yeah, Rammus, because of the blue buff, and then he had kicked out of the area. leaving that top scuttle available, and Rammus with just nothing else really to do. That's free for him.
Yeah, and Brizink's being very oppressive here. You can see the farm differential, and that's not because I's bad at farming. It's because Brizink is just sitting up there smacking him anytime he even remotely comes close.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Getting a lot of harass off there, and then off to an early CS lead. You can also see just again the focus on bot lane with just the wards, the one in the offensive tri-brush just dropping off there, but definitely some bot lane focus. But we do have Trundle potentially coming top here.
Saw a rare Balthazar miss there with his E. He didn't quite have the range on it, so he doesn't have that for another, I think, like a little while, right? I don't know the cooldowns that well, but I think it's a pretty long cooldown pretty early.
Yeah, although we do see a Rammus gank bot lane here.
And shut down immediately from Brizink with the root.
And Brizink
the trade in on Galfrey.
Walking through that bubble like it's nothing.
Oh, does get the heal off. Just able to save him there. He would have probably taken down Twitch Poison without it. And Rammus going back in. W off again.
Nice job of Brizink there, stepping in front of it.
Yeah, if that went onto Fox with an E and a dash in, E from Nami, dash in from Lucian, he'd probably be able to pop him.
Yeah, that was really good. They're also doing a really good job of juggling aggro and not quite taking it. I guess juggling is not the right word, but almost taking aggro, going in there, getting a little harass going, stepping back, and then the teammate doing the same thing.
Yeah, definitely playing around the edges of the fight well so far. Off to a little bit of a CS lead there, matched kind of by top lane, but overall about 200, 300 gold in the advantage for red side.
Yeah, mid lane looking pretty even. I do think, I feel like an even lane in the long term is going to favor Victor with teleport and Victor's late game scaling. But, Tina does have at least a small lead, and the Rammus is coming in mid lane.
Yeah, and level 6 is the level for... Yeah, that's going to be no problem. Level 6 is the level you start worrying about Vex. Vex doesn't really do anything in lane until you get that ult to just immediately ult in and get that burst damage off. And able to time that well with the Rammus gank.
That's one of those where you...
just kind of trolling around and stops the back with the pillar here. As we do have some action top as well, but...
That's one of those where you look at the death timer and say, like, oh, I had 4 seconds of that fight and all 4 seconds were CC'd when you're real frustrated.
Yeah.
That looks kind of like that.
Yeah, but it was a great timing from Calikola. Right in there at the level 6, despite only being level 4 at the time on Rammus.
Yep.
That's all it takes. Lockdown and then the follow-up with Ignite. Pretty easy.
Yeah. Good little dash back from Belth top. Able to avoid pretty much all the damage from Mord. Has been kind of doing pretty well. Pulled the teleport earlier and still harassing down. But in the meantime, that focused bot lane ends up netting a dragon for IWB. So off to a little early lead there in the dragon game. But they've fallen behind about 500 gold, spending some time there where everyone else is farming. And of course the first blood.
Yeah, one thing worth noting, Victor did save the flash, but can still be a target for ganks. And, if this mid lane does kind of blow open, if Vex can get out on the map and roam, any power that you might have had in the bot lane can quickly go out the window on Senna Twitch if you have a Vex roaming down to your lane. So I want to see what Sed does to try and make his presence felt on the map.
Yeah, kind of been quiet this game so far, other than just securing that one objective. And I guess his early steal in the blue, but looks like that one will probably go back over to Rammus this time as it's back up.
Good electrocute from Vex is doing work.
Yeah, for sure. Also kind of starting to pull ahead after that early kill. Up about 20 CS. And constantly harassing this poor Victor, but Victor, not really someone you'd expect to be popping off early anyway. Does kind of need an item or two to get rolling before he starts being really impactful in those kind of mid-late game team fights.
Yeah, just got to really focus on last hitting, getting that first item on that E, getting that wave clear in there, and then hopefully come bot lane.
Big aggression from Brzinc, just kind of flaunting on Senna, which is a little risky. You can absolutely just get bubbled and almost insta-killed there.
Yeah, I have to think it's the level 6 advantage. Oh, and there's another
Speaking of level 6
all
advantage.
in.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
There's the ult in from Anya on the Vex, and another ult here from Aya, but I think just too far behind in the lane, unless they're able to pull it back, but does end up going the way of IWB. Oh, but Fox taking a couple of... Oh!
And they trade.
Trading, and then do we have... Oh my goodness, just a 2 for 2. Taking 2 tower hits because of the poison. That's one thing you always have to look out for on Twitch, is that even if you stop attacking people, the poison will still net you aggro on the tower. And it does cause them to just drop down to the smallest amount of health. Aya, picking up on that, is able to come in and not able to reach him, but is able to turn on the Senna. And Galfrey valiantly able to kind of tie off that 1v1 with Twitch afterwards.
And, you know, fortunately for IWB, Twitch did get both of the kills.
And Nami got both on the other side. So they're going to be overall happy with that. I think that was, like, they were about to push anyway and probably back off the lane too, so some CS lost to the tower as well. So they're definitely happy with that overall. As we see a fight mid here, as Brzinc lands the W onto Rammus, and the ult's used as well, but I think she'll get out of there. Anya a little bit under threat here under tower. Depression main thinking about the dive, but thinks better of it. Still flash and ignite available on Anya there, so a little bit risky. The ult also just about back up on cooldown, so if that was a more extended fight, probably would have went the way of AOT.
Yeah, I didn't think about this before, but Rammus with the old Herald back there, pretty impactful. Back almost to red buff there, faster than pretty much anyone else. So she could completely be right there.
Yeah, the defensive ult from Aya does back Depression main off of a potential gank bot lane. But yeah, Rammus definitely fast at moving around the map, especially with those quick recalls.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised not to see the Trundle top lane yet.
Yeah, it really does not seem like their game plan is to pay top any mine, but it is now just about a 50 CS difference, as Belf has just been farming pretty much everything he wants up there, and Mordekaiser has not had that same kind of freedom, constantly being harassed, forced off a farm.
Yeah, we might see a... There we go.
Yeah, Herald mid here into the dragon that is just spawning now.
Yeah, and I like this game plan from AOT. You know, get mid lane rolling. If they can keep pressure there, they can start fighting back on the Drakes. Top lane's going heavily in their favor. And, you know, the small lead bot lane for IWB, again, that starts to matter a whole lot less if mid lane goes very heavily in the favor of aspects of Targon.
Yep. Yeah, and Belf kind of recognizing that, you know, a lot of the lead is on him right now, is able to join and kind of secure that dragon, whereas at least on the plus side they got a plate top and a little bit of CS on a Mordekaiser. So Mordekaiser got back into that game a little bit, but at the cost of a dragon, which, you know, because they got that early one, you don't want to let them snowball. We do have a gank in here from Rammus under Brzinc, the taunt, the ult, everything out of Aya, and it looks like potentially an all-in from Fox, but he will probably just drop here. I don't think even with the poison he's able to get him. Meanwhile, mid lane, not even using ult there. Anya able to just get the kill with Balthazar, and because of that, has the ult up here for this. And Balthazar's probably going to take the pressure main down here as he does. Yeah, Anya not dropping either. So pretty strong 2 for 0 in the mid lane at the same time as that gank. And that's a pretty big swing in favor of AOT overall. Literally and figuratively, as Akshan eating in to get that second kill.
And things all going according to plan for aspects of Targon so far. Mid lane,
yeah,
huge
mid lane
lead,
ahead,
top
jungle
lane, huge
ahead.
lead. And bot lane, honestly, doing fine. If those 3 kills instead of on Nami were on Lucian,
Yeah, they'd be stoked.
yeah. But still, regardless, it's looking really good. You know, I think this is the point of the game where you really got to maybe start saying to yourselves as IWB, let's see if we can slow this thing down. We do scale. And, you know, Drakes are 1-to-1, so that's not going to be a huge pressure in the meantime. But they really got to track Rammus. And, I mean, I feel like Rammus's gank success rate has been incredibly high.
Yeah, pretty good. Good dodge there from Tina to dodge the W. Will probably let her out. Good attempt there, but Senna's W being kind of the key CC element there. Able to get away from that one. Very strong game at a first so far. Just doing, 37 CS lead, couple of kills, starting to run with that. Another kind of snowball champ that, the overall plan is definitely win early. And the onus is really on AOT to keep this game, progressing towards an end. Because if they do stall out, I agree. I think that's kind of the win condition for IWB at this point is scale up to late game. Mordekaiser's crazy strong, Trundle's crazy strong, Victor's crazy strong. Both of those bot laners are quite good in the late game. Even if Twitch isn't really able to get up that like mid-game gank and roam. As we see a little bit of a fight top lane. As Covid-19 Timo trying to take a fight with Balthazar here, but he's just too far ahead, and the Rammus is coming in. We might just see a dive here. Flash out of Covid-19 Timo. And
I'm a little surprised. I feel like Mord could have ulted Rammus as far in as he committed, and he would have been stuck in turret range.
This tower is dying, so I'm surprised to see Rammus leaving, but I think Belthas just got this. Yep, as he does take him out in the Death Realm there from Mordekaiser.
Yeah, keeping up the pressure just like they need to. And, man, a good look from Calicola, honestly. All the right places at the right time.
Really poor usage of the action passive there, because he couldn't revive anyone.
I mean, that's a problem you're happy to have if you're an Akshan player, I think. Not having any teammates who are dead that you need to revive. I mean, only 2 kills on the board so far for IWB, so it seems to be kind of the case for them so far. Leaving the 1 chicken, disgraceful.
Yeah,
they are able to take a little bit out of their jungle
many
while
souls
they're
as
grabbing
can.
that. As in the meantime, Herald does go over, of course, to the AOT top and jungle. Starting to see mythics on everyone here on the AOT side, and just the 80 carry. So this is a pretty big power spike for AOT.
Yeah, this is the part of the game where if I was IWB, I would be very nervous. Yeah. Because you've got Akshan free from the top lane. Could be anywhere at any time. There's an advantage all across the map, except for bot lane. But again, it's not like Lucian's behind.
Yeah, you see Rammus here, not really the target you want to start on if you're
open. There's the Vex ult.
Yep. Onto the back line, able to take out the Victor early. They do turn around onto Akshan, which is the best target you can get. Missing the ult as Anya trying to get back into this fight. On Aya to kind of clean this one up. Calicola does die in the Mord ult. Galfrey trying to get a cheeky
Twitch
kill on
living.
Twitch, but he just barely lives. Anya coming back into this one. Manages to pick up 2 at the end. So good kind of salvation of that fight.
I guess hitting the yoinky splunky after that, doing a little dance there.
Yeah. But overall, I mean, if you're IWB here, you're stoked about that fight. They got the early kill
yeah.
on the auction, and
Yeah,
that
that's
transitions into
absolutely
the
necessary.
yeah, absolutely necessary for that fight to go the way. Because I mean, if it goes the other way around and Bellator comes in and cleans up, then you've got Resing Champions to deal with, and just in general, that's going to be kind of their strongest team fight damage. Some decent fighting out of kind of Aya on the backside, but ultimately I think just letting the Twitch kind of go unattended in the back, as Belt does try to just run in here on a 9 Timo.
That's a little risky. Okay, he does get out.
Yeah, the
Oh,
flash.
Remus with the flash.
Oh, Smites, but is not able to get it, and they might be able to turn on to Keelikoli here, or Belth. Oh yeah, with that W into Belth, he's going to be in trouble.
Beautiful.
I think. Oh, disgusting damage from Belth.
Zed.
He dies to the Ignite! Oh my goodness, that was just disgusting damage out of Balthazar to at least get the return kill. But again, this kind of back and forth team fight fiesta overall ending in a net positive for IWB. So kind of fighting their way back into this game.
Yeah,
and that's dangerous.
This is the point for IWB where you look around to your teammates and say, hey, I know you have 75 gold.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, getting good word coverage for team fights. Next objective might be a while. You've got 4 minutes on drag. Probably not a position where either team can Baron very easily. So maybe we'll start seeing some of these, tier 1 towers getting pushed. The mid one's pretty low. Looks like Rammus is coming down to this bot lane to potentially start pushing there. Because the onus really is on the aspects of Targon to really start pushing this game forward.
Yeah, and as much as work as Belt has been putting in top lane, with Mord picking up a few kills in that fight, I'm not sure it looks so good for him anymore. Yeah, I mean,
build.
Mord going in, he can just sustain through all that action damage, and
yeah, he comes out at 75%, right? He picked up, I think, 3 kills in that last fight, being the only survivor as well, and that just put him right back into the game. Even just looking at items, they're not that different.
Yeah, that's a bit of a tilter. You put in all that work in the early game, and then one team fight goes bad, and now it's a Mordekaiser, and what can you do, right?
Yeah. This is still your strong point if you're AOT, and that's your mid lane Vex, who's still at a point where they can kind of one-shot anyone.
Yeah,
Does still have the ult up here, but it's either a 3v2 or a 4v3, depending on how this fight kind of plays out. And IWB just does not want it. They know that that ult will be going away from Vex, and that she is kind of the strong suit on this team here.
Yeah, I think this game has become about mid lane. If Victor can stabilize and get back out on the map, not die anymore, get that farm up, and as long as Vex doesn't keep taking things over, I think IWB looks fine. But if this Vex keeps popping off, they still have a win condition there.
Yep, and I kind of see it as the Vex lining up a little bit with the Mordekaiser in terms of just like 1v1 potential. You've got the Akshan kind of lining up with the Twitch in terms of kind of ganks, sneaky kills, AoE teamfight damage. And then the Lucian, who did get a little bit behind early up against this Victor, who both, you've got an AD carry who can scale, at least, still do a lot of damage in teamfights and things like that. And then you've, of course, got Victor, who will eventually just start doing a ton of damage.
Yeah, but he's down a whole item.
Yep.
So it's a long road for Victor.
I mean, if you match them up 1v1, right? But if you look at at Augustion, the Lucian here also just one item, although he did just go pick up a couple of kind of supplementary items here. So they are kind of lined up a little bit evenly. Both kind of looking to burst someone down in a team fight, both kind of ability focused. So that's kind of how I'm lining people up. But again, we'll see. Still, I think at a point where, depending on how they play team fights, you've got still a lot of kill potential on both teams. But I think eventually they're going to have a hard time dealing with this Mordekaiser.
Yep, and I'll say it again, we got to have this pink stun.
Yeah.
It's sitting there for a while. Put them down. Doesn't
Yeah,
matter where
absolutely.
you put them. I mean, it matters, but put them somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, taking a look at ward score, right? It's pretty even across the board until you look at the actual support, and then you've got that 55 ward score to 26 advantage for IWB, and so that's going to be paying off in terms of team fight positioning, and we might actually see that happen right now as they are trying to clear some of those wards, but IWB is ready for it. They critically do not have the Mordekaiser, but he does have TP, so...
He needs to do that now.
Yeah, yep.
Okay, a lot of flashes coming out. There's the Trundle ult.
Yeah, Trundle just
Trundle right under Rammus.
Getting free reign in here.
Look at that boy go.
Aya trying to get onto Fox, and so is Balthazar, but neither of them being able to get in more than half. And it's just Anya left. Does still have ult. Might try to make a play here, but probably just leave. Might try to get a Q. And secured by Cedric on that Trundle.
Man, and it's so
4
rough
for 0.
Because like you almost have to think it just would have been better not having had the vision set up for aspects of Targon to not try for that, because all you have for engage is pretty much Rammus throwing himself in there and then getting Trundle ulted. So it burned a few flashes, but I mean the turnaround with Twitch and Senna and Victor was huge.
Yeah, and they transitioned that right into a Baron. Anya does get the 1 kill, and gets quite a bit of damage off onto Fox there, but it's really just a 1-for-1 at the tail end. Yeah, you get Baron off of someone, but doesn't really get anything else out of that.
The shutdown went to Victor, and that's huge because now Victor's got 2 items.
Yeah,
and it's like
right back into the game. So overall, not really something you needed to see there. Maybe a bit of a kind of a panic play as they're starting to fall behind here, and I mean late game has been tough. One of the things we didn't talk about was just how well this Twitch has been playing in team fights. Sligo Fox kind of, I think, just went under the radar a little bit in draft, and somehow managed to get picked up a little bit later on than I think anyone was expecting.
Yeah, he definitely twitched his way through draft. That's for sure.
Yeah, sure did. And also, again, one of the heavy focuses of bans in this game too, right? So does pull out the Twitch, and has been pretty effective in team fights, able to kind of take out those backline threats, and despite being one of the primary targets, able to kind of stay safe in these fights.
Yeah, I mean, he absolutely melted Aya and Galfrey in that last team fight.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah,
that's what you got to look out for.
There's the burn. Yep.
Yeah, and that is the priority target now. I think Victor, the last couple team fights, you didn't really need to deal with Victor. I mean, of course, you're happy to get the kill on it, but really Twitch was that priority kill.
Yep.
And I don't know if that'll net into anything. You've still got 2.5 minutes on drag, but it does slow down the Baron push, which, if you're at a point here where you're kind of AOT and you're hemorrhaging a little bit, getting that kind of stabilizing kill is pretty huge. Depression Main does try to force a fight here with the pillar, but Kaliko was able to get out of that one.
One thing I've noticed for IWB at least is when Balthazar is coming in invisible, or whatever is that his W, they're respecting it and just knowing like, hey, he could be here at like any moment, and they're really respecting that, and I think that's making a huge difference in this game.
Yeah, and aside from that little hiccup in the bot lane, which, good play by Tina to pick up the kill on Twitch with the ult just coming out of Fog of War. But like you were saying, Mike's been doing a really good job on the Twitch, playing safe, not overcommitting for things. In theory, that was a fairly safe push. If he's able to dodge that ultimate, he's not under any threat. So we'll see if he can keep that up, because if Twitch does get caught out 1 or 2 more times, you can't team fight with a dead Twitch.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, they still, now that Victor's online, and I mean, you can't underestimate Trundle's damage in fights. You can't really underestimate just Mordekaiser's ability to just take someone out of the fight and kill them.
Right.
So, and I mean, they might be okay without Twitch in a fight if they had to. Senna also does scale. So it's not like they don't have any AD carry-esque players. But still definitely the kind of main backline damage dealer in these fights for sure.
Yep. And I really think, next team fight probably happens in 50-20 2 seconds at that
Yeah, Dragon Pit.
Drake Soul.
Because
Yep,
it
and
is soul
Mordekaiser
point, like you
has
said.
teleport.
Yeah, double teleport here. Haven't seen much use out of the teleports yet, other than the one where Mordekaiser teleported in and won. And Depression Main, just looking at this potentially, but again, it's Rammus, and it's not the target you want to be going on, right?
Yeah.
The Rammus does end up being a pretty good overall pick for this team because they do have those kind of squishy backliners with Akshan, not getting any of your tank out of top, so you need that hyper tanky frontliner in Rammus.
Is he about to take this blue? Interesting. Takes it from
Yeah.
the Victor.
Does take it from the
Classic
Victor.
said securing neutral objectives.
Yeah.
Oh man, and Rammus into Senna, that can be frustrating.
Yep, they really want this Ocean Soul.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to try and force something here. There's Mordekaiser a little bit out of the fight. Akshan potentially trying to do some sneaky backline stuff, and if this is interesting, just some poke coming out from Anya. That's probably who you're looking to initiate this fight with a quick initiation. She does have the Zanyas now as well. Kayla Cola going into the backline, but the entire team is dealing with Mordekaiser, and she just goes down. As
And
Galfrey is
the
just
backline.
Yeah. Oh, good bubble landed there by Galfrey, but is taken out, and Fox again just ripping through the back line.
Yeah, Mike flashing in on Belth there.
Yep.
Real heads-up play. They looks like they got him on the ropes.
Yeah, W does land onto Anya, but probably not able to chase unless Mordekaiser makes something happen here, but they'll eventually be able to push this out no problem, and they're going to have to back off. I imagine they'll get at least one more, probably inhibitor here. Yeah, they're just going to have to give that up.
Yeah, and after that kill, I'll tell you what, Deadbeat Demon Dad is back from his milk and cigarettes, and he's coming back to stay with the family.
Interestingly, not going for the inhibitor here.
Wait, they don't take the inhib, and maybe it's because Baron's spawning so soon?
Yeah, it's up in 10 seconds,
also,
but...
I didn't notice the Drake went over to AOT.
Oh, that is interesting. So Vex stole it. Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, did not catch that either. But that is critical. It's Ocean Soul, but that does actually get picked up by the Vex. So able to kind of keep them in this one, and we're gonna have kind of a repeat of that last fight over by the Baron pit most likely. I would have liked to see them just commit to taking the inhibitor here because they could be, kind of having that standoff while the ult comes out from Vex. No ult from Vex is gonna be huge for this team fight.
Yeah, there is no flash on Twitch, and you have to know Belth was calling that out when Mike flashed in on him. So
yeah,
it's a little bit risky for Mike.
That, but they still have the stronger team fight overall, especially without that Vex ult. They catch Brezink here, and he drops instantly before the TP even comes in. But Victor damage. Victor's online. He's just they're all lined up through that corridor, and it's a hard team to go through a corridor on when you're looking at Mordekaiser and Twitch. Like, again, kind of that team fight synergy between those two champions around anything that is not a big wide open area. Anya the target here for COVID-9 Teemo. Belth trying to turn around onto COVID-9 Teemo, but it's Anya in the pit here. Aya on the back line doing a little bit of damage, but Kayla Colt is going down. Aya does drop as well, and they're able to just take him out.
They just can't kill the Trundle.
Yeah. Trundle is just being as strong a frontliner as anyone. The teleport in from Victor to try and take out this inhibitor.
That's a weird teleport. I'm just gonna call.
Yeah,
a little unusual on that.
I think he gets it, but I think they could have just ran and killed it. They still got 20 plus seconds on a lot of them.
Okay, it seems fine. Yeah.
But
I take it back.
Yeah, I think that's good. Like you get the resets this way, and you don't risk your whole team running from Baron to the inhib, and then getting picked off in some awkward, overstay. So I think fine, knowing that you've only got the Nami to deal with, and that Nami has 0 kill potential on Victor. I think it's an alright one. They now don't have teleport, so if there's some key rotations or anything like that, but there's also not really any major objectives for a minute and a half, and I imagine they'll just use Baron to run down one of these side lanes. Probably bottom, just looking at the waves so far. But you've got Mordekaiser top, and they're in the enemy jungler here, so I don't think you take a fight without Mordekaiser. This is playing with fire here. I don't think the other team
No, you
knows.
gotta watch out for that Vex. Oh.
Yeah. Vex ult's still up. That was just a Q. So
Yeah.
Mord will be here for the actual fight, but that was I would have expected your Mordekaiser to be in that fight, or maybe you just don't push quite so far in there, because a good pick from Anya could have turned this whole game around.
Man, I feel like you can sense the pressure that IWB is feeling. They like got into position and like half their team was there, and then Mordekaiser backs and starts coming out, and then the rest of the team backs, and they're really
yeah, giving the blue buff over to the Twitch here, which is interesting. Little ward here into the Dragon Pit. They are all lined up for it. But I would expect a fight to come here. If you look at just the red side vision, they've got everything lit up like Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So gotta give the advantage to them. Kaylee picked off here potentially.
Oh,
yeah, just killed immediately.
Said there.
And the Nami ult. Still ult on the Vex, which is who I'm looking at mostly in this fight. But they just take them all out. They're all
oh my goodness,
get completely run over. You have that just tremendous line of AoE, right? With the Trundle Pillar kind of forcing you to go one of the sides, everyone going the same side slowly, and you get the E in from Mordekaiser onto the Spray and Pray onto the Q from Brzinc, and that's going to be the game. All right. They do not have creeps yet. They can wait. They have 20 seconds on people.
Island.
Yeah, they just, hard, literally just sacrifice themselves to take these towers down as fast as they can. I don't think they'll have any trouble ending the game here. And yeah, very strong. We talked about David Goliath at the beginning of this fight, or the beginning of this match, and IWB picking up their first win of in franchise history.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. This is Depression Main's first win, and who else is on that team?
Brzinc, yeah. Depression Main and Brzinc's first official win in Pentakill.
And Aya and...
yeah, and Aya and both first loss, yeah. A historic moment, truly, in Pentakill history.
Man,
wow.
That's wild. I mean, when we were like 15 minutes in talking about potential win conditions for IWB, I'm going to be honest, I didn't see it happening. But those dragon fights, they just got ahead. I mean, they got there ahead of time, played them out correctly, played the vision game, and really just turned it in the river there.
Yeah, it was that one first dragon fight where they were able to just take out Belth at the beginning of it, and Mordekaiser picked up those 3 kills. They never really recovered from that. Vex stayed strong the whole game, but the rest of their team would just kind of get run down. Yeah, well played by IWB.
Let's talk MVPs. What do you guys think?
Mine's either Mordekaiser or Twitch. I'm kind of on the fence between both of them. I'm going to give it to Mordekaiser just because of how rough his early game was and how strong his comeback was. He started that game 0-1 and finished 6-0-7 after that. Yeah,
I got to give it to the Twitch. Commendable for COVID-19 Teemo getting back in that game, but I think it was, in large part due to his team doing a lot of heavy lifting and getting him back, and I think a lot of that came from the Twitch. Playing aggressive into Lucian Nami, and then showing up in team fights.
Yeah,
Steve,
for me, I think it's Mordekaiser.
Okay.
Just that giant TP in there, using the advantage over the TP-less Balthazar. But I want to give an honorable mention, because I think this did change the game as much as we might not think so. But Brzinc stepping in front of that Rammus and saving Fox, I think had a lot more to do with the win than we think it did.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and the Vision score too, 109-56.
Yeah, I actually wanted to say, I think Senna was my second pick, because Senna was all over the map, coming mid lane to get pressure before the Drakes, keeping Vision up, trading well in bot lane. Really great job.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Awesome.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us for Game 1 of the Pentakill League. We'll see you guys later this week.
Good night, everyone.